Yay! I believe we're
Yay?
Knive Lao.
Wow.
What's
You're
up, crew?
professional
Totally
too.
professional. That one Sufferfest just went straight to my lips. What's up, GR crew? Really appreciate all of you for being so patient. I think I mentioned this after every after show, but YouTube for some reason likes to delay the ability to start the after show by a certain period of minutes while the main show ends on the YouTube servers. It's like you can't do another live show until that one's done. Regardless, we're live. We got David, and Kim has pulled a bunch of live questions and stuff from the main show. But if you have additional live questions, jump into this chat room. All you got to do, if you're watching on Patreon, is just click anywhere on this video screen, and it should just take you over to YouTube. And in that YouTube page, there will be a live chat room. And I see a lot of people already in there. John Onate, Brian Sands, Heather Reed, Rebecca Patrick, Paul Bergman, or Berquam. So bring on the questions. Kim, what do we got?
Yeah, a question from Deb from the main show. Deb says, David, have you had athletes contact you during a race and asked advice if they should drop? If yes, how do you handle that situation? And funny story, I almost texted you during my race, but only to tell you how I had made up a name for my watch and how I was talking out loud to my watch every time the mileage would click over, and I was cracking myself up. I was like, this would be a funny story.
That's in the future. I want that text.
But then that story had like a longer explanation story.
Yeah.
But you laughed really hard when I told you.
I did laugh really hard. There's a great YouTube video of this
I'm Canadian. So
Canadian hockey kid.
He's little Timbits
6 years
4-year-old hockey player. And the dad mics up the little hockey player. And you can hear all the audio as the kid's going to Timbits hockey practice.
Like trying to learn to skate, like 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that video. It's so good.
Okay. So in that video, he trips over the lines and he'll be like, you old paint can. And he like calling everything an old paint can. So we've joked around with that a lot because I think that's the cutest video. So like at one point during my race, I was using Ethan's watch and it would beep every time it hit a mile. So I started calling my watch an old paint can, but then I'd be like, thank you, old paint can.
In the middle of the woods
alone. In the middle of the woods, in the like pitch black darkness alone. But it was bringing me so much joy. It was so silly.
Oh my God, I love it so much.
Anyways, I guess back to the original question.
So I want to be texted all anecdotes about paint cans and watches. So yeah, no, I mean, athletes have actually done that a lot, including a rather like a very, very well-known athlete texting me at like 1 a.m. our time. And whenever athletes are racing overseas, I keep my phone on just in case. And like, going through the calculus about DNFing and stuff. So ended up having like a Facebook call from the top of a mountain in Switzerland at 1 a.m. And so, yeah, no, athletes have done that for sure. And like my advice or whatever is usually like, actually a good example is it happened once at CCC this year with a woman named Madeline Weston Miles. And she was like, she called and asked if she should DNF. And I was like, all right, I just want to make sure that you are comfortable with what you've given, like that you have given everything you want to give today. And I asked her, have you? Like, are you? And she said, not yet, I don't think. And so I was like, well, just get to the next aid station. And so she got to the next aid station, got to the next one and finished. And when I saw the result, like 12 hours later, it was one of the most amazing moments. And I was like, after having talked to her, the fact that she did that, it's one of those moments like, oh my goodness gracious. But I've also told athletes to just like, pull the plug. Like that athlete at 1 a.m. in Switzerland, I was like, you should definitely drop out.
And you mentioned that you had debated texting David during Headlands.
Yeah, there was a number of times that were like not later it became physical ailments, but early on I was like physically totally fine. And I kind of had that phone and I was like, if I text David and say I'm having like a mental breakdown during this race, I had a feeling I knew what you would say, which was, listen, you need to do what's right for you and what's right for mental health and all that right now. And even as I kind of sat through, I like played out the dialogue in my head and that got my answer. Like I got my answer, not from what David actually said, but what I imagined David would say as a support system. And I was like, you know what, David, you're right. The fake David in my head was like, he's right. I'm just going to kind of give it a little bit more. And I never ended up texting David at all during the day because I was strong enough. I didn't need that extra strength.
And what I hope like you understand when it gets to that point too is like, so when I go to Western States or Spartan or whatever, and I'm out there like my yeah, I'd have some like specific tips that might vary based on the situation, but like my I hope athletes get to that point and know that like what I would say is I am so proud of you. Like,
Mm.
that you would know that and that would be what I say. And, you know, so hopefully like one reason you didn't feel like you had to text is like you knew that was there. Um
I
so
knew that your positivity was there, but I think it was also me. It was me allowing myself to say that I was okay. It was me going,
yeah.
I need to reach out to David. Maybe I don't. Maybe I just need to tell myself I'm okay. And it really was sort of like a self realization. Not that I don't need David anymore, because David's a fantastic coach and positions you in a manner that gets you ready for these big challenges. But it was also kind of one of those moments. I'm like, I remember during the 100K last year, the day before, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And you just left it open. You left it completely open to me to make that decision, to take that first step at the 100K thing. It wasn't like David saying, oh man, you're totally trained. You got this. There's a place for that as a coach to be like, yeah, man, you got this. But there's also a place of like, what do you think? You think you want to start tomorrow? And then me making that decision, like, yeah, maybe I will. And then finishing it and David being like, I didn't do anything. I just watched you do all of it yourself. And so that sort of came at Headlands too. You didn't know any of this, David, but I appreciate you,
This is amazing. No, I mean
the head David being there for me.
you nailed my intent at the 100K, for example,
Mm-hmm.
like the
We talked about that after that.
finishing the 100K wasn't anything. But yeah, like Nicole before Spartan, meanwhile, with $20,000 on the line, I'm like, you're ready. Like, I don't care about that, but like run with swag. You've earned it, because it's a little bit different calculus. But for most people, I would never, you know, never impose that pressure on them to like be ready or not. Like you can be ready if you want.
Yeah. Sorry. I know we have a lot of questions to get through.
Very important question from Austin in the chat room. Austin says, David, if you could create a candle, what would the scent be?
Cheeseburger. Bacon. Bacon cheeseburger. Final answer.
God, the smell of final answer. I wonder if that even exists. How does that not exist yet? Even just like a bacon candle. Bacon candles have to exist.
Question from Vivian in the chat room. Vivian says, I ran a marathon in May of 2019 and it was amazing, but the desire to run another one has not come back yet. Any advice? And part 2 to that, she says, I am scared that if I were to run another marathon and it didn't go as well, that I would lose all of my confidence and would lessen both experiences.
That's a deep question. I mean, I would say, first of all, it doesn't matter, if you want to run a marathon, great. If you don't, there's no inherent value in running a marathon or, whatever, or doing 100-mile, or it's whatever meaning you derive from it. So if it's something you want to do, awesome. But like, just do what structures the process you love. So, get out there each day, do little runs if you feel like it, if that's what you enjoy. If not, go knit, or whatever other things you want to do with your life. Like, I mean, I really want athletes to find self-actualization. And that's not going to happen in a marathon, and so, yeah, I would ask you, like, what's your ideal ideal week look like? Does that include the type of training that leads you to running marathons? If not, then you don't need to. And if it does kind of look like that, like it includes the long run, it's like, yeah, then go for it. Like you'll get there and you'll be fine.
Sweet.
Question from Key Lime in the chat room. They said, David, what are the differences in coaching an OCR athlete like Nicole and a distance runner?
OCR at that level is essentially very similar to like mountain sky running. And so it has a ton of overlap, but I let Nicole handle the climbing stuff. So my view of OCR for women, at least, because the men's obstacles are the men's stuff is a little heavier. So they need to be a little bit stronger in terms of like raw lifting strength. But for women especially, it's climbing mixed with running. So do strength work that supports climbing and running. And then, obstacle specific practice during races and, whatever you get outside. And yeah, for men, it adds just a little bit more strength, but essentially the running training is very similar. I think that OCR is changing, that the best runners, like really great runners, have been in the sport for a while and are continually coming into the sport. And, runners that can climb, like those were some of the most impressive athletes I've ever seen out there this weekend. And it's, that sport's just progressing with that.
Maybe one more question.
Yeah, a question from Holly. Holly says, wondering about a coach's view on goal setting. I've struggled to maintain good fitness between a chronic injury and a surgery. I want to set a big goal, but not sure if it's too big based on my weaknesses.
So, I think it again gets back to like the idea of a goal is just to structure a process that brings you meaning and joy. So, if you're injured and you can't run, it's great to have a goal, but like don't put yourself in a place where you're going to be pressured to run too soon. Like Megan is currently coming back from an injury and we've like cleared the calendar. She's not racing until 2020, even though she'll be healthy before then, hopefully. Like fully, and she's running really well right now. Because like that would probably lead down some like self-destructive paths. But other than that, like gets back to the shoot your shot thing. Like, if you enjoy, like don't do an ultra if you don't like doing long runs. If you like doing long runs, choose an ultra that gives you a reason to enjoy those long runs. And then you get to the race and the race doesn't actually matter. As we talked about, like it's just a celebration of what you've already done, the tests you have passed. So yeah, ask those questions for yourself, and whatever path that leads you down is the right path, like no matter where it goes.
I love it. David, it is awesome to have you on, and thank you for sticking around a little bit longer for our after show. Our GR crew just really appreciates it. Can you just remind people, because I know the GR crew specifically, if they have residual questions, where they can reach out to you?
Oh yeah, so my email's all over the internet. Just go to swaprunning.com and you can see my email. I try to answer I do answer questions from any question. Don't worry if you're not coached, like send it anytime, no matter how detailed, and I should have said that on the regular show, but I will try to help.
Awesome. Am I forgetting anything?
I don't think so.
Stuff. If those of you who have registered for GR, you should be getting your stuff here very, very soon. International, that has been shipped, and all domestic will go out tomorrow. Actually, all of the domestic shipments will go out tomorrow. So look for your swag to arrive in the next anywhere from 3 to 4 days, I think. So probably by Monday, Tuesday of next week.
And we'll be doing GR Crew Live on Thursday.
Yep, for $10 and above, we'll do our GR Live that we do monthly for Patreon subscribers. It's like a behind the scenes of what's going on with GR HQ this month. And this is a big month. October's a big one for us with GR, so lots to talk about.
And hopefully this week I will be making my return to filming something also.
Yay!
I've been I have maybe this is the week. I don't know if
it's going to come out this week, but I'm going to try and film something this week.
Yeah, Kim has been talking about it for a long time. We've been talking about a long time. We've got Ryan Thrower helping out with some editing now, so we want to throw stuff his way, and this is a perfect opportunity to bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
My last thing.
Stop it, Ethan. David's trying to.
Oh, sorry, David.
Sorry.
Oh my God, I don't turn off audio. I don't know what that is.
That actually follows me around. That's my audio. The failure stuff that we talked about applies especially to the creative process. I should have really emphasized that. With videos, with writing, with anything, just go for it. Put out crap, put out good stuff, put out everything in between. We're not Scorsese here, and even he's put out some bad movies. So just go for it. It doesn't matter. Just the shitty videos that you do. I've had so many terrible articles and so many ones that I'm proud of, and the shitty ones are a part of that process. So go for it. I love it.
Love it. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you Thursday if you're $10 or above, or otherwise we'll see you Monday. And thank you, David Roach.
Awesome. Have a great day, guys.
Yay! All right, get out there, train hard, race harder, party the hardest. David is gone. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.